A suspended state trooper has been sentenced to 6 months in jail for sexually assaulting a woman he met through an online dating site. Christopher Kennedy of West Springfield was found guilty late last month of assault and battery, indecent assault and battery, and indecent exposure. Kennedy is currently suspended without pay from the Massachusetts State Police. He must turn himself in to begin serving his 6-month sentence by August 15th.
A Massachusetts state trooper is under arrest accused of attacking and kidnapping his girlfriend earlier this year.
Investigators say 27-year-old Jordan Cavaco was arguing with his girlfriend in late May and began driving erratically on the expressway. At one point, state police say he pulled over, attacking the victim and preventing her from getting out of the car. Trooper Cavaco was suspended from duty last week when the victim got a restraining order against him.
The postings appeared on a website called Mass Cops. Sources tell the I-Team trooper Matthew Sheehan used the screen name Big Irish and allegedly made some racist and profane comments. Massachusetts State Police say Sheehan is now under investigation, telling WBZ the posts don't reflect the values and opinions of the department. Sheehan, a trooper since 2005, was involved in Saturday's confrontation with ATV riders on I-93 in Dorchester.
74-count indictment against former and current state troopers accused of taking bribes in exchange for commercial driver's licenses.
The CDLs were for sale, and troopers were bribed with free goods to pass applicants no matter how they performed on the test.
The scheme is said to have involved 4 troopers responsible for issuing the CDLs. 2 of the troopers are retired, but all of them have been charged, along with 2 civilians.
The criminal complaint also alleges Pullman used union funds like they were his own.
That he used the union debit card to pay for $9,000 in flowers that he sent to friends and family, $8,000 in restaurants, and thousands more on travel, including a trip to Miami, Florida, with a woman with whom Pullman was having an affair at that time.
Mr. Pullman did not act in any respect to compromise his loyalty or to betray his trust in the union.
New at 5:30, a former Massachusetts state trooper has been indicted on motor vehicle homicide charges. Prosecutors say in October of last year, Christopher Carr was under the influence driving south on the expressway in Boston when he hit the median. His SUV ended up blocking the 2 left lanes. Now, a motorcycle then crashed into the SUV. 51-year-old Christopher Zeich was killed. Carr had just graduated from the academy just 1 week before that crash.
A former Massachusetts State Police lieutenant was sentenced to prison and ordered to pay restitution for his role in the overtime scandal. The Department of Justice says Daniel Griffin conspired to steal thousands of dollars in federally funded overtime and also ran his security business while collecting regular and overtime pay from the state police. He'll spend 5 years behind bars and pay more than $500,000 in penalties.
Andrew Patterson was off duty at a concert at Gillette Stadium over the summer when they say he exposed himself and punched a man in the face. He's been suspended with pay since June. This morning, a judge dismissed the case in Rentham District Court, citing Patterson's lack of a previous record.
And for prosecutors, that brings up credibility issues. Benito Ruiz Rivera of Roslindale, charged by Massachusetts State Police with possession to distribute white powder believed to be cocaine, driving an unregistered, uninsured motor vehicle, and possession of alcohol and marijuana in the car. Now, all of these charges dismissed, according to the DA, because this trooper, Leah Genduzzo, now suspended, was involved in this state police investigation. Mass State Police say they're investigating statements and representations made during Genduzzo's hiring process after a report she was allegedly involved in a large-scale drug operation before becoming a police dispatcher and later a trooper.
We now know the name of a Massachusetts State Police trooper accused of injuring 3 people while driving under the influence earlier this summer.
35-year-old Jason Welch was arraigned in Chicopee District Court today. Welch is charged with multiple offenses, including operating a vehicle under the influence of liquor, causing serious bodily injury.
State Police spokesperson Dave Procopio said Welch was driving in his personal car on 291 East in Chicopee near Exit 6 in July and allegedly rear-ended another car. In total, 3 people, including Welch, were taken to the hospital.
An off-duty state trooper has been charged with driving under the influence of drugs and alcohol following an early morning crash that injured another trooper. 43-year-old trooper Sean D'Amato faces other charges in connection to the crash on Route 1 in Revere, according to department spokesman David Procopio. The 19-year veteran rear-ended a stationary cruiser with its blue emergency lights on in the breakdown lane and with another trooper inside. The impact pushed the cruiser into the vehicle that had been pulled over, injuring a 29-year-old Chelsea man. All three men were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
A Massachusetts State Police sergeant is being held without bail in New Hampshire after he appeared in court for his arraignment. 36-year-old Brian Erickson is accused of headbutting and choking a woman he knows in Exeter early Sunday morning and then leading police on a chase. Massachusetts State Police say he has been stripped of all police equipment and relieved of his duty. That department has opened its own investigation.
Simone was led away. In court, he was still bruised and bloody after the violent takedown at the hands of swinging troopers who are now off the job.
So again tonight, 2 troopers off the job, and tomorrow that trooper from Massachusetts faces an internal hearing. We're live at Nashua, New Hampshire tonight. John Atwater, WCVB News Center 5.
An update now from 5 Investigates on this bizarre video. State police say 2 troopers failed to intervene when trainees at the State Police Academy slid through this watered-down hallway similar to a child's slip and slide.
And they have taken action. Our Mike Beaudet has the results of an internal investigation tonight. Mike?
Ed and Erica, State Police suspended 2 troopers without pay over the incident that happened earlier this year at the State Police Academy. This is the video that triggered that investigation. It shows a shirtless trainee wearing a helmet sliding on his stomach down the hallway. Trooper Douglas Grout was suspended for 45 days and Trooper Ryan Stanley was suspended for 30 days.
They're seeking criminal charges against the Massachusetts state trooper who accidentally shot his neighbor. Authorities filed a complaint against Trooper John Bergeron last week. He's accused of careless or negligent use of a weapon causing bodily injury. 66-year-old Cheryl Blair was walking her dogs on New Year's Eve when she was shot. She spent 2 months at Rhode Island Hospital and has undergone multiple surgeries.
A state trooper from Rentham is facing domestic assault charges following an incident at his home late Saturday night. Michael Atten faced a judge this morning. He's been relieved of his duties pending an internal hearing this week and an internal investigation.
Appearing in court for a second time this week, now former state trooper Michael Atten is answering to a charge that he violated a restraining order. Monday, he was ordered to stay away from a Rentham apartment complex after being charged with assaulting his ex-wife. But yesterday, a neighbor told police she saw Atten at the complex twice.
A Massachusetts state trooper is temporarily off the job after being charged with disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. 31-year-old Brian Kilfoyle allegedly tried to assault an officer early Sunday morning after being asked to leave a nightclub in Newport, Rhode Island. He's been placed on administrative leave pending a hearing tomorrow at state police headquarters.
And we begin tonight in Danvers, where a man arrested for operating under the influence of drugs early this morning was found dead just hours later in his cell at the state police barracks.
It's new tonight. 5 Investigates uncovering who knew about a state trooper's private recording equipment when they found out and how he got that equipment in the first place.
Yeah, we showed you the exclusive videos last night of the trooper's often questionable behavior, actions that internal affairs investigators found were wrong. State police say their investigation is still open, but after 3 years, that trooper has never been punished. Here's Kathy Curran.
Trooper Nick Holden heads out of his cruiser with video and audio rolling. It's a practice that state police say was never authorized, but one this man of the law repeated for years, sometimes warning motorists and other officers they were being recorded.
You're being audio and video recorded, just so you're aware.
But plenty of stops without. The video captures the trooper's bad behavior time and time again.
Sources tell the I-team at least one trooper could find himself in hot water after video what appears to be showing him fighting with several women. The I-team obtained the video, which appears to show at least one off-duty state trooper, the man in the plaid shirt you see there, involved in an altercation with several women on the street. At one point, it looks like the women appear to be the aggressors. The trooper on the video appears to be pushing one of the women in the face. The group then appears to surround and physically assault the trooper. The trooper then walks away and goes over to where two women are on the ground surrounded by men. You can see him right here walking over. He goes over to those two women and starts punching and hitting them. At the end of the video, you see that closed fist there. The state police tell us it is investigating the incident.
Floors during an off-duty confrontation with a driver. They did not release the name of the fired trooper, but they say he graduated in the last recruiting class in May and was assigned to the Danvers barracks on a first-year probationary period. State police say last weekend he used the racial slur while talking with a man parked on Revere Beach Boulevard. They did not give any other details on the incident. The Massachusetts Attorney General will decide if the fired trooper will face civil or criminal charges. Katie Johnston for WBZ News.
Retired State Trooper James Coughlin was in court today where he pled guilty to furnishing alcohol to someone under 21. Those charges in the wake of the death of 17-year-old Alonzo Polk, who drowned at a graduation party at the Coughlin's home.
State Police Sergeant was moving a shotgun when he accidentally shot himself in the left leg. Sky 5 was over the Mass State Police Emergency Vehicle Operations Center in Air this morning. Sergeant William Nasuti was picking up his new cruiser and moving the shotgun from his old car when it fired. The buckshot striking him in several spots.
New information about an accident at the State Police Academy where a trainee actually shot himself in the leg. State police now say the trainee's wounds were just superficial. Fortunately, he was treated at UMass Medical Center and then released. He will be allowed to resume training tomorrow. State police will now try to figure out how this happened.
Ezekiel. State Police Payroll Director Denise Ezekiel of Holbrook tried to shield her face from the camera as she walked up for her arraignment today in Framingham District Court. But there's no hiding the charge she is now facing.
It's been alleged that on the 23rd day of July 2016 in Framingham, they did commit larceny over $250.
According to a state police investigation, Ezekiel made 29 unauthorized transfers for travel or training reimbursements between July 23, 2016 and October 28, 2017.
Right now, a state trooper being held without bail after going before a judge in Gardner District Court. 36-year-old Corey Benoit, a 10-year veteran of the force, appeared in court today charged with domestic assault of his girlfriend over the weekend. Benoit's attorney told the judge his client pushed his girlfriend after she bit him. He was off duty when he was arrested. The victim suffered serious but not life-threatening injuries. Trooper Benoit is being held until a dangerousness hearing on Wednesday.
Tonight, a state trooper claims that he was forced to change a police report after he arrested a judge's daughter for driving while drunk and high. WBZ's David Robichaux has the changes that he says he was forced to make.
Ryan Sevior achieved his goal of becoming a state trooper at age 28.
Year and a quarter on the job or so. I'm trying to do the right thing.
His lawyer says Sevior was trying to do the right thing when he arrested 30-year-old Ali Bebo after she crashed her car on the Mass Pike in Worcester October 16th. In his report, Trooper Sevior says the young woman screamed, quote, "My dad's an expletive judge. He's going to kill me." The trooper also wrote Bebo admitted to performing oral sex on men in return for heroin, and she even offered him sex in return for leniency.
Screaming that she was the daughter of a judge. He did not know the name.
Unbeknownst to the trooper, the suspect's father is Judge Timothy Bebo of Dudley District Court. 3 days after the trooper filed his report, he was awakened by another trooper at the door of his home. He was told to report to the Holden Barracks and ordered to remove sections of his report that included the parts about sex and Bebo's relationship to the judge. He was told the order came from the very top, from Colonel Richard McKeon.
And Erica, we first exposed this scandal last fall. Since our investigation, more than 35 Troopy members have been flagged for possible overtime fraud. Now 3 have been arrested and face federal charges. This is what we did. We looked at state police overtime records. We looked at citations that were written, and we compared them with records from the Registry of Motor Vehicles, and we knew things just didn't add up. It appeared shifts were worked and overtime was paid, that tickets were manipulated and fabricated, and that's exactly what the 3 Troopy members arrested this morning are accused of.
Multiple Massachusetts State Police Academy trainees were injured during an unauthorized training exercise at the facility in New Braintree. Now, according to State Police, Colonel Christopher Mason became aware of 2 instances during which trainees were required to do bear crawls. Police said those resulted in blisters to some of their hands. The bear crawls were not authorized as part of the training program. 2 drill instructors have been removed and returned them to their regular assignments elsewhere in the department. An internal affairs investigation is now underway.
Right now in Massachusetts, state police have issued another dishonorable discharge to a state trooper accused of being involved in a commercial driver's license scam. A spokesperson for the Mass State Police says Joel Rogers retired from the department Tuesday. He's been suspended without pay since January 31st, and 3 other retired troopers are also charged in this scandal, along with 2 people not associated with the state police. They're accused of giving commercial driver's licenses to people who didn't qualify for them in exchange for bribes.
2 former Massachusetts State Police troopers have been arrested and charged with getting paid for overtime hours they did not work. WBZ's Beth Germano is live tonight outside federal court with a look at the scheme, which prosecutors say went on for a year. Beth?
Well, it is the second time in recent years that federal prosecutors have alleged a state police overtime fraud scheme. The 2 men arrested today are accused of embezzling thousands of dollars on the taxpayers' dime.
Federal prosecutors say it was a years-long scheme to fraudulently obtain overtime money. Money they say was federal funding to support highway safety programs like sobriety checkpoints. Former Lieutenant Daniel Griffin and former Sergeant William Robertson allegedly arrived late to their shifts and left early and falsified records.
To create the impression that they were working the entire overtime shift, Griffin and Robertson ensured that their co-conspirators all entered the same false number of hours worked into the system and entered false citation times to make it look like they were working the full 4-hour overtime shift when instead it was something less.
U.S. Attorney Andrew Lelling says they profited to the tune of at least $120,000 in taxpayer money and then allegedly shredded and burned documents when they realized authorities were investigating an already erupting overtime scandal involving several troopers from Troop E.
The lead investigator read personal text message that he sent to friends, calling Reed a whack job and far worse. WBZ's Christina Rex was in the courtroom for all the testimony.
Zero. Absolutely zero impact on this investigation.
That is what State Trooper Michael Proctor tried to convince the jury about his relationship with some witnesses in this case and about the unflattering personal text messages of his he sent about Karen Reed as he investigated her for murder.
She's a whack job. See you.
Objection.
So don't spell it. You have to. So these are your words, Trooper Proctor?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead and say them.
Yes, she's a babe. Weird Fall River accent, though. Said the Alberts beat the shit out of O'Keefe, left him for dead, and that's why her taillight was cracked. She's gross. Trooper DeChico. Oh, her.
Ken, we'd like to ask you some questions. Do you think your actions impacted the outcome of the trial?
Get off your lawn. Right?
I'm not on your lawn. I'm on the street. Do you have anything you'd like to say?
I fully support my husband. Karen Reed is a murderer.
You support your husband?